Well, we are here, vlog number 8. And they say that 8 is the number in the Bible of new beginnings. And I really feel like this vlog is going to reset some of our thinking and the way we live in this world. This one is especially for all of my women who understand the power of sisterhood, or who have been struggling with the idea of sisterhood. Maybe you've been challenged in that area. I have the perfect candidate here for you today. This woman I call the ambassador of sisterhood. She's going to be a little uncomfortable with that, but it is the truth. This is Emily Mills, and Emily Mills is the founder of the How She Hustles movement. If you have not heard, let me tell you, my goodness, what How She Hustles is all about. How She Hustles is a nationwide movement, and it is catching fire with thousands and thousands of women coming together, all different ethnicities and cultures, belief systems, who are finding strength in unity and really forging a path to push each other forward. We're learning together, we're igniting each other in purpose, we are growing, and we are really just like shaping the future. This has caught the attention of media right across the board. CBC most recently did a feature on some of the women from the How She Hustles movement around the celebration of the 150th birthday of Canada, and they called it Her Story 150. Is that right?
Her Story in Black.
Her Story in Black.
That's right.
And it was a wonderful series that highlighted for Black History Month some of the forefront women of color that are really carving a path,
Yes.
making a difference, and shaking the world up. World changers.
Yes. And of course you were one of them.
And I was honored to be one of them. I almost let that slip. Honored to be one of them. But I think in order to pioneer a movement of world changers, you've got to be a pretty major world changer yourself. And that is who Emily Mills is.
I love this woman, but she knows this is not me. I don't, you know.
And because she doesn't like the fame, and because she doesn't like the accolades, is why God uses her so much. I really feel like when you love attention, it will never come to you. When you don't want it, it comes to you. Think about that for a minute. But let me just...
Wisdom, and we're just getting started.
We just warming up. Sisterhood today, and there is no better person in my mind to speak about this topic than you, Em, for reasons that I've mentioned and reasons that I haven't. This woman embodies sisterhood, but I know it didn't come overnight.
No.
I know that you didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be this poster girl for sisterhood. You stumbled into this purpose.
Absolutely.
So I want to like unpack that a bit.
For sure.
But I think let's get on the same page with everyone. Let's like figure out, first of all, what do we mean when we say sisterhood? So when I say the word sisterhood to you, I've got an A and B for you. Why, what does sisterhood mean to you, and why is it so important for us to embrace as women?
Okay. Big questions, big questions. First, thank you very much for this opportunity. I feel like this couldn't be a more perfect time in my life journey to talk about this. You know, I recently transitioned out of my full-time role working in the media, and I'm now focusing on How She Hustles more than ever. And so really recommitting to building out this community of women. So to me, when I talk about sisterhood, what does that mean? I have to think about it, but I think there's two critical pieces. One is it has to be built on intention, right? A relationship between women that is intentional. And secondly, it has to be built on trust. And to me, that means it has to be a mutual
Oh, I love
belief
that.
in
Yeah.
each other. That's what I
love
mean.
that.
And I say that because, I say intentional because I think there's some people who are just, we're sisters in blood or in spirit, not because we want to be, but it could be a relationship of convenience.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're in relationships of guilt. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I'm a sister girl with you, not because
We going all the way down
listen,
today.
I'm just being real. It's like
Yeah.
I feel guilty because of something that I did, so I'm going to maintain this relationship.
Sure.
But it's not really something of my choosing, or I don't feel so. In terms of the trust piece, trust in women. You know, I never thought of myself as somebody who really struggled with trust with women, but it's
Yeah.
been interesting over the last couple of years with How She Hustles, 8 years now.
Wow.
Being able to
Vlog 8, 8 years.
8 years. We just have
8 is new
right?
beginnings. No
Right?
coincidences here.
No.
Yep.
And just absorbing and observing the energy of women.
So I gotta ask you, why is it important that we move in sisterhood?
I don't think we can survive without it. We are designed in a very particular way as women, and our journeys are different than, you know, let's say, for example, than the opposite gender, right? Women, whatever your life experience is, whatever your belief is, whatever your journey is, there's certain things that we all go through, you know,
Right.
that puberty change, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the question of, you know, children, marriage,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Work-life-
raising the next
work-life
generation.
balance.
Trust me,
Yeah.
there's things that are so particular around the journey of women. I do feel like women have a very particular assignment.
Yeah.
You know, to nurture, to lead, to build in a very particular way. And I remember my father-in-law constantly says that. I see you as a builder. And I think as women, we often don't think of ourselves as builders, right? It's like, but that's actually what we're doing. We may not have a hammer and a nail and wood or cement all the time, but we build in ways
Yeah.
that
And
no
I
one
feel,
else can.
and I also want to add, I feel like we're creators too.
Listen.
Right? We create life, we create family, we create homes, we create business, we're entrepreneurs, we're always creating.
We do.
This building and creating
Yes.
goes hand in hand. I love that.
And so in that building, you can never do this stuff alone.
Yeah.
You have to have people around you who can complement what you don't have, who can uplift you, who can amplify you, who can pick you up when you fall, who can help to propel you, who can put you on their back and carry you. Like there is an interdependence, I think, between women that often we don't think about and we take for granted, but it's essential. It's like breathing air.
Wow. I hear you, and I know exactly what you're saying is 150% true. We need sisterhood for all of those reasons and more. But it's so hard, Em. It's so hard. And if we're going to be honest, which we vow to be in these vlogs, sisterhood is not an easy thing to accomplish. What is the struggle with sisterhood? Why do we struggle in this area? Like, what do we as women need to be aware of? What are the hindrances of sisterhood, and how do we work through them?
That's a big question.
I know,
That's
that's
like a
heavy,
ravine-sized
yeah, it's a
question, right?
ravine-sized question, yeah.
I think, but if I had to boil it down to the essentials, I think the biggest thing is trust. That is the biggest hindrance to sisterhood, when we are not honest with ourselves and not honest with each other.
I feel like that hurt, that injury that we suffer at the hands of a woman or particular women, we then blanket that whole demographic. So then all women are backstabbers, all women are hypocrites. We like, it's this big like blanket thing that we do, and so we don't give sisterhood a chance. Like, has that been your experience as well?
You know what? So far, I have to say, in my 8 years of doing How She Hustles and kind of leading this movement, reluctantly, many times reluctantly, I feel like I definitely did not choose this, and God was like, I'm sorry.
I love that.
I gave you an assignment. Which part of this I'm not stuttering.
Yeah.
But in that, I never had a period where I felt like, I'm going to look at you sideways because I'm not so sure. Until this season. This is the first time where I've had a few relationships where I've had to think about, What's really happening here? Because I also feel like you choose to trust, but you can also choose to mistrust.
Choose to trust, and
Right.
you choose to mistrust.
Right.
And what I love about you, Em, is that with 8 years under your belt and a real mature understanding of sisterhood, when you got hurt this recent season, you didn't blanket the entire demographic. You recognized that is you, and that's your journey or lack thereof. And that doesn't mean that sisterhood is not a good goal to
Yes.
right.
Yes.
You still stayed focused with that.
Yes. And you know, the thing too is it's caused me to sit back and think about, okay, what have I done? Right?
Yeah.
How have I contributed to making this relationship healthy? Have I given my all? Are there words of forgiveness I need to share to the other person?
Such a
right?
good. This is so good.
There's a big difference in the choices you make when relationships with women get hard. You can choose to distance or discard. Distance or discard. And I find as women too often we're quick to discard. Oh, she doesn't have her stuff together. She's in a different season. I've reached a certain plateau. She's in drama. And I've been guilty of it too. Discard. Nah, because sometimes
Just needs a little bit of distance.
work
on you, work on me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Love
Sometimes
that.
the greatest lesson is right there. If you keep the person who you think is your biggest enemy, who you think is your biggest
So
weight,
good, Em.
you gotta keep them. Don't just cut them off. There
So
might be a
good.
lesson there.
So good.
Just take a minute, check yourself,
yeah.
and then see, what can I still learn from this person?
Because friendships are valuable, and we don't throw valuable things away at the drop of a hat. I got a question for you. When I think about all of the work, speaking of work, all the work that you put into How She Hustles, all the effort, the energy, it's been a labor of love. It's been a labor of tears. It's
You
been
know
a labor.
that.
Yes, I know.
You know that.
It's
Prayers.
been prayers, midnight hour prayers, 3 a.m. prayers with this one. Just to, lots of midwives, I would say, to help give birth to this movement, right? This huge movement of sisterhood. I don't know if we have really stopped to ask you, all the How She Hustles people, I hope you just sit at the feet right now. Why did you start this in the first place, A? And was there ever a time that you felt, I have to give this up? And what was that almost?
Almost.
Yeah. Big questions.
Trust.
Yeah.
The most powerful things that have happened in my life are things I never scripted, never had a business plan for, and that I never forecasted. Because it's not me. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
How She Hustles was not my vision. It wasn't mine. I honestly, when people ask me about this whole thing, I think How She Hustles was probably the beginning of my deepest spiritual journey, my deepest spiritual path, and that's what I'm on right now. Before How She Hustles, I think this was God's tool to say, you know what? You have a deeper purpose for your life. All of the time that we've spent exposing you to different people, introducing you to people. I mean, even before How She Hustles, I was in some amazing rooms. A lot of people don't know that I started off writing, right?
Wow.
And I was a blogger. I had a blog in 2001, right? And I was interviewing people. I'll never forget the time that I sat down. She's still a queen, with Mary J. Blige, and I sat down in a room, and this woman was ministering to me. I remember I left that room weeping. It was so embarrassing as a young journalist to be like, you flew me to New York, you put me up in this hotel, this is the queen of R&B, and here she is. The lady was like counseling me.
Yeah.
She was like,
That's what lighthouses do, though.
Listen.
Lighthouses can't stop teaching.
Why do I share this story? She took the time. At that, I was in a real season of change in my life then, and I was so emotional and so whatever, and she took that time, instead of talking about her album and her career, she was like, everybody out.
Wow.
Seriously, everybody out. And I was like, ooh, and literally, it was no publicist, no photographer, nobody. It was me and this woman sitting in a room.
Two sisters.
Right?
Two sisters.
And she sat down and she literally put her hand on me and said, what'd she say? have faith
Yeah.
that you will come out. Otherwise, you will die.
Wow.
That's what she said to me. I will never forget.
Goosebumps.
And I feel like in that moment, that was a couple years before How She Hustles, but like it was moments like that that helped to propel me so that when it...
Because you felt the power of sisterhood in that moment.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And so it's moments like that, moments like meeting Mrs. Obama.
Yeah.
You were there for that, right? It's those moments where I don't think it's an accident that I keep having touch points
Yeah.
with women who are pouring into the world in a seismic way.
Yeah. Real significant way. Yeah.
Right? So then who am I to not do something with that?
Yeah.
So when it happened now that I was doing a bunch of things one day, in 2010, I was working on some corporate projects. I was dealing with family stuff, the community.
Yeah.
I wasn't married and didn't have kids, but I still had all these obligations. I was up 3 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, I'm working on all these projects. And of course, other women were like, I'm up too, because we know
Yeah.
when the hustlers do the work.
Yeah. No sleep.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when other women said, yes, I want to sit down and share what I'm doing too. You know, I'm working on things. You know, I have aspirations. I have a vision. Why don't we sit down and get together? And I was like, sure. Boom. It was that organic. I was like, sure, let's meet up. And
Wow.
with no sponsor, no venue, no name, no website, no
Wow.
advertising, I was like, all right, we're just going to host a meetup of women.
I love that.
And 50 women came to the very first meetup. We took over 2 floors of a restaurant on the Danforth. And I believe that every woman who came there, many of them are still coming 8 years later. Do not miss an event.
Fantastic.
I feel like they were meant to be there. When people saw the pictures of Black women, South Asian women, white women getting together, being like, what is this? Where is this? Since then, it just has continued to feed off that energy.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that. And so I just feel now, I feel like almost like a shepherd, to be quite honest with you. I feel very much like, you know, yes, CBC came and amplified what we built, but that was built out of a community of women who invested their own time.
And there's a
own money.
lot of eyes on it right now,
There are
too.
a lot of eyes.
Throughout all of that, you have never, it's been tough, but you've never dropped the gauntlet. You've kept it going. And I want to take a minute, and I'm going to ask all the women to join me. How She Hustles people, women in my Facebook, women sharing this to others. If you know Emily Mills and if you've ever been impacted by any event that she's ever done, I want you to thank her now in the comments below. I want you to take a minute, because you know what? It's so important when you're pioneering a movement and you are just going against obstacles, no finances, no support, no energy, no publicity, all the no's, a sea of no's, and you're working through that. It's so important for you to know that you're making a difference. Those thank yous, you can't put a price tag on that. So just appreciate her.
I love this one.
We're gonna love on Emily.
Hold on, and I want to love on all of you and on Cheryl, right? Because yes, there have definitely been seasons where there have been some no's. No, you know, if anybody came to my last event, which was, you know, all about female entrepreneurs, there were people who were like, no, you're not fundable. No, I don't really understand what you're doing. No, we're not, you don't have any other sponsors. No, 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 no. And in all of those no's, there are always people who will say, I'll be your yes, right?
Wow.
And I think that that's what I see as the energy I want to then pour into other people. Just have not done this alone.
Yeah.
There have been a group and a community of humble women like you.
Force of women.
You know, and sometimes it's not even just about the sponsorship. It's about the prayers.
Yeah.
It is about the people who say, can I get you something?
Yeah, who roll up their sleeves and just do the grunt work.
Listen. So you asked me, and I didn't answer your question, but you asked me, was there ever a moment where I felt like giving it up?
Yeah.
The answer is no. I've never had that moment. But if I'm honest, I know the moment is going to come. I know it. And so I feel like I'm in a season now where I need to build it out.
Yeah.
Build my team, build the infrastructure, and really seek what is it that you would have me do.
Yeah. Love that.
That's the season I'm in. So I'm not in a season of giving up. I'm in a season of seeking.
Oh, powerful.
That's it.
Okay, I hate to close this vlog. I hate to wrap this vlog up. You know what? We're going to do something different. Let's take a seat.
Okay, and can I just tell you very, very quickly?
Yeah.
You're not going to believe me, but I actually know who this bench is dedicated to.
No way.
I do. Yes. This is a lady. She is the mother of a grade school friend of mine who passed away, and so we are sitting in a bench of a woman of significance who poured into me when I was a young child.
God is the best screenwriter there is. You cannot script this stuff. We had no plans of where we're going to stop, and look at this. So this is a lighthouse pouring into a lighthouse who pours into hundreds to thousands of lighthouses. What have you learned? As we close this vlog, I'd love for you to just take a minute and just look at the camera and share that big lesson. What have you learned on the path to sisterhood that you feel would be so good for women to kind of take as a takeaway and just put in their heart and walk with?
I'm going to go back to the word truth. I think truth is the most essential element of friendship, sisterhood, bonds between women. That's truth for ourselves. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves, you know. Who makes you feel uncomfortable? Who makes you feel trusted? Who makes you feel capable? Who makes you feel like they are deserving of your friendship, your love? Also, being truthful with other people, you know. We've got to ask ourselves the tough questions, but we've also got to be able to share our truth with others. And that means saying to someone sometimes, sister girl, you really hurt me. Or, you know what, sister girl, I'm actually really jealous of you. Or, you know what, sister girl, so-and-so has an issue with you. I can tell you have an issue with her because I'm getting it from both sides. You guys need to talk.
Or how about this one? Sister girl, I need help. Woo! Because we don't white flag. We don't white flag.
Listen, today, this is a help for me. Today, Cheryl, I was just saying to Cheryl, it's been I'm in a season of transition. And this is a help for me. Being able to articulate, being able to spend time.
The heart behind the movement.
Being able to walk with you.
Yeah.
Being able to, in my little way, help to pour into your vision. So I think truth is the biggest thing. Ask yourself, what is the truth about even the 3 closest friendships you have that you need to either reflect on yourself or that you need to share with that person? It's not easy as women for us to speak up and articulate our truth to each other. It's something we really struggle with. Even though we speak a lot, even though we use social media a lot, we meet a lot, if you ask a lot of women to look you in the face and say, tell me one truth you have never shared with me about our friendship or about myself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women would be like, this is real awkward. Can I just come back?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's so necessary. And you see when that happens, when you're actually able to speak truth to yourself or to other people, I just feel like the relationships land where they should.
There's nothing else to say. Here's to living. Here's to learning. Here's to loving. Here is to sisterhood.